Hello there humans and fur babies, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be fixing this messy area of my house. Now this plant stand started life as a candelabra, which I found when I moved into the house, and today I woke up and was like, that's ugly, I need to change that. So I'm going to be cutting it down and making it a tabletop plant holder, and I'm also going to be making some plant stands that fit in here a little bit nicer and don't look like such a junk shop. Now the wood I'm going to be using to make my plant stands is going to be the deck chairs that I made last year. Loved the deck chairs, however they were a little bit too big for my space, and I just decided that today was the day I was going to break them down and make them something else because, you know, boredom. So sit back, relax and watch me get sweaty. First thing we're going to do is get the grinder and chop down this candelabra. So safety first, goggles, gloves, mask, because this stuff's going to spit everywhere. Cutting off the excess limbs to start the nice frame of the new tabletop plant stand. I'm going to cap off the legs with some little dowels. I'm going to drill the hole in to plug them on, and a little ring to cover the messy bit in the middle, and I think we're nearly there. Hi everyone, I've got a bit of a mid-project update for you. So a couple of things have changed since I last started filming this part. I've given myself an isolation haircut, which was a choice. I did choose to cut it like this, so no judgment. Everyone's different, and this is how I feel like cutting my hair. Second thing that's changed is I've hung up this, and that's about all that's changed really. But the other thing is, once I cut all this down with the grinder, I realised it's still ugly. So then I had to give myself a week to think about it because I had no idea what to do with it. Now I think I know what I'm going to do with it. So I've decided I'm going to cut it down a little bit further. I'm going to add a wood strip around the top because my friends recently bought a jigsaw, so it's going to make it easy to make interesting shapes with wood. And then I'm going to add a wooden base to it, take off all this wire, spray paint it black, polish this wood so it looks a bit more like nice, and then I think I could probably put it back in my house. So, being that the candelabra was handmade and factory made, none of the spikes actually are even. So I've marked out the 4 spots of the spike, and now I'm drawing a circle from the center so I can work out the exact shape of the ring that's going to go around the top. Because it's not going to be even, I have to make sure that I number 1, 2, 3, 4 of each of those spikes and make sure the corresponding hole fits into it. So that's done. I mark out the template on the wood and make sure I number each of those points again so they don't get lost once I've finished cutting it out. I get the jigsaw and I zip through it and chop it out. Beautiful! Right, now I'm all sweaty and gross. I'm going to sandal that wood, and I'm going to sand back the metal and paint it and do it all. So basically, next time I see this, it's going to look awesome, even though it's pretty gory, let's be honest. Right, so now let's move on to the plant stand portion of the makeover. Given that I broke down the deck chair, I've got 2 different lengths of talls, so I need to cut them down to be all the same length. And also, because it had been rubbing on the ground, some points of the wood are at an angle. So I'm just squaring everything off and making everything exactly the same length. But as you can see, they are all different thicknesses. So instead of trying to plane them down to the same height, which is what I did with this small test, not even gonna bother because it's just too much work and it didn't make that much of a difference. So I'm just gonna sand them all down and fill all these holes. Okay, that's next. I sanded and sanded and sanded and sanded and sanded for hours and hours and hours and hours because this wood is just really crap quality and it's got all these saw marks from the factory on it, nothing's even. It was just such a pain in the ass, but I wanted to just use recycled wood and not buy new wood. Oh my god, it just took forever. I was getting sick of hearing it. I was so tired of just sanding, sanding, sanding. I was like, what are my neighbours going to think?
So Alicia, you've been neighbours with Michael for a few years now. How do you feel about all of the noise that he makes?
Well, it has lately been very noisy. He starts very early in the morning. At first I thought he was vacuuming, but it went on and on and on. Then I realized he's sanding. I can't imagine what, because it never ends.
And so, why don't you move or report him to the authorities?
Why doesn't he move is a better question. I'm a lovely neighbor.
If only every neighbour was like you.
Exactly.
Next I measured all the dowels, cut them out, put glue on them and hammered them all into the holes, and then I did it about 5,000 more times because there was holes all through it. Gonna let that dry before I sand again. So the top of the plant stand needs to be one solid piece. I've got this nasty old bit of wood that's all warped and it's hard as rock that I'm going to whip through again with the jigsaw and then proceed to sand a bunch more. Right, so this is the current state of play. We have the top of the plant stand and then we've got the legs that go in here, and these are going to be a cross section here to hold the legs and all that kind of business. Now, what I need to do is cut out this bit here and here so this sits in nice and flush. And also, see how warped that piece of wood is? So I could either plane it all down and lose a ton, which would be hard because this is like cement, or cut grooves in here a little bit so this sits flat, because right now this, when that's flat on that board, is not right. So it needs to come up by about like a millimetre. So if I cut a millimetre into there, that'll be flat. But before I do that, I need to tackle this. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so I've got this bit here and this bit here. So I'm going to connect this bit onto that bit, glue it and clamp it, and then put the other across bit on there, and then clamp that, and then I should have like a standing cross. Can't do it because I'm holding the camera. Cross. Yeah. Anyway, that's the plan. Okay, everything's been declamped and it's all staying together, but it's just with glue. So now I would have rather do like an angled screw in here, but I couldn't get the piece here. I had to order it online. It was going to take forever. So I'm just going to drill in all of these parts to strengthen it with a drill, with a screw. And I'm either going to just plug it with putty, or maybe I'll plug it with the dowel again. So then it's going to have like chicken pox basically. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to give it chicken pox. So this is how it's all fitting together. I also put a second plate on the lower bracket, as you can see, and it's sitting kind of flush-ish. All of the chicken pox holes have been filled in. You can also see that the top plate is sitting in at the top of those poles where I've cut it out a little bit, so it's sitting more flush. Now I just need to drill those cross sections into place and add a little bit of glue, and we're pretty much ready to go. Next time you see this, it's going to be looking fancy than it already is. So while I'm working on fixing this corner of the room with my new plant stands, I can't avoid the obvious disaster. This shitty brickwork. I can't put all the love and attention into making some beautiful pieces and then have all this crap. So what I'm gonna have to do is move all my furniture, scrape all of these walls down and paint it with some waterproofing paint. So this is going to take some time and it's going to be really tedious, but it's got to be done. And this is the state of it after scraping it back and getting a huge bag of rubbish. This is what I've got to paint. It looks awful. This is the before. After. It's all white and pretty. I'm going to do one more thing to the project. So I recently took out a garden lamp that had broken. This is attached to the wall and it's all rusted through and wasn't watertight and the rubber had all perished and this was like facing out from the wall. So what I thought I might do is turn this into a little cactus garden. So I want to scrub it with this because it's filthy. Sand all this back and then I'm going to weld on some legs, maybe a little wooden base and turn it into a cute cactus garden. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. No, I'm not going to chuck it. So I was going back and forth with a million different ideas on this. Because it's got these little screw holes here, I was thinking easy, I can put little dowels in there and make legs. And then I thought, no, that's boring. I also have this offcut of marble. So what I'm thinking is going to look good is if I can attach these bits to there using my new soldering iron. I'm going to try and solder. I'm going to attach that. Stay. This little rod. So I might put that across there. We'll see how we go. These little pieces are out of rusty old bolts that I've got. So I'll sand them down and see how they come back. And I probably need to cut a little groove in the top there so I can sit that in and solder it. It's going to be trial and error. I never soldered before. Cool, that was really well done. Okay. Fucking hell. I don't know how people do this. Oh, I gotta work this out. Okay, I'm trying something different. Let's see how we go with this. Motherfucker. Oh god, maybe I just blew it. Yeah, I'm going to use glue. I can't get the solder to work. So I'm going to use my trusty 2-part epoxy putty to try and get this happening. Okay, boring. Okay, so we've got this glued at the moment. I'm going to get some epoxy clay and strengthen it all a little bit. So this is where I want it to go on the marble. So now I've got to drill the holes in the marble, which I've never done either. So I'm going to use a masonry drill bit and pray that it works. So I'm going to do that now. I'm not going to film it because that's tedious. So to strengthen the metal joints, I used this 2-part epoxy, but when I filmed it, it was all blurry, so I'm not going to bore you with it. I'm just going to jump to the next clip, but that's what you're going to see. So this is dried. I love this stuff. It's so good. It dries hard, it's strong, but then you can still work with it and file it down and stuff. So now I'm just going to finesse it a little bit more, and then we should be ready to paint it. Okay, so we're finally going to glue the top planter to the base. So I'm going to put in this 2-part epoxy and fill it right up. And then I'm going to use this great app called Precise Level, which makes a round level. So it's really great when you're trying to get the center of something. I'll just hold this a bit until the glue cures and is ready to stand on its own, and it'll be completely level.